make more sense to you. Okay, so can you see that? The neckline is here. So what we do here now is that we can cut out the style line. But designers, one thing is very important. You have to make sure you label, okay? Labeling is very important. So this is my side front, side front, side front, hip line, side front. This is the center front, okay? So if you are getting confused, go back to your design and see what is going on there. Are you on track? Okay, no problem, I'm on track. I'll continue. So we are going to cut out this pattern. So here we go. Okay, and then from the neckline, this. So what you notice is that it is only the center piece that will relax. This will not relax because there is no any line passing through the pivotal point. So there's no how the pattern is going to relax. And the same is applicable to the skirt. The pattern is not relaxing. Can you see? It's bulging out. So as the bodies. Now, from the design, what they have here on the design is that they went ahead and sew these remaining small darts on the waist. Yes, it means that the tape that we used to hold this waist dart, it was opened, okay? You're going to remove that tape and the remaining small dart is going to be sewn, okay? But what you notice is that even after opening this small dart remaining, the pattern is still not relaxing. Why? Because a dart is still closed there. So this dart on the side has to be transferred to this waist. And how do we do that? We are going to grab our scissors and cut the center of this dart to make sure it touches the pivotal point. Once we do that, what happens? This bust dart is transferred to the waist dart. Can you see the opening here? So the pattern relaxes. So that means that this excess is going to be sewn. Okay, it's going to be sewn. So that's aside. And now, let me tell you something here. Let's assume that you don't want to sew this dart. You can actually gather it. Yes. All you have to do is to make sure that before you open this dart, you measure what you have. How many inches do you have right here? So you make sure that you take note of that value so that by the time you gather this waist dart area, you are gathering it back to the same measurements you have here so that it can match up when you bring this side, this middle piece back into the pattern. Okay, so now you remember we said added fullness is when the dart and the volume needed is more than the dart excess. Actually, on this pattern, this is the dart excess. It is not too much. So let's assume that, okay, I want to create fullness around here. I want more fullness. All I'll have to do is to extend this line. So already I'm introducing the added fullness principle. All I'll have to do now is to extend this line all the way to the shoulder, like so. Then I'll go ahead and slash to the tip. Then I'll spread open as much as I want. But then moderation is key. Once I spread open, then I'll determine how wide I want it to be. Then gather that up. Because that excess might not be enough for another person. In case you don't want to sew it as a mere dart. In case you want to turn it to fullness. Do you understand? So that means you're going to extend this line all the way up and cut the pattern and make sure it gets to this tip so that you can spread. Remember we said added fullness is more like slashing and spreading, okay? But for this design, what was done was that this side dart was just transferred to the waist dart and it was sewn. That is it. Now we are done with this part for now. Coming to the skirt designers, you realize that the skirt is not laying flat as well. And like I said, the silhouette of this design is an A-line silhouette. So first of all, to alter to A-line, we are going to slash open this bust span line to touch the hip line. Once it touches the hip line, the waist dart here is transferred to the hem. Then it creates fullness. Then you can go ahead and add excess on the side. So the magic is simple, or let me say it is not magic. It is just so interesting. Trust me, that manipulation is very, very interesting. Can you see? Once my scissors touch the hip line, the dart on the hip line, what happens? The dart excess here was transferred to the hem. And let me tell you something, designers, about dart manipulation is that the longer the distance of the dart to the pivotal point, the fuller the dart excess. What I'm saying here is that, you know, the distance from this hem to this hip line is so long, so it makes the dart excess fuller, because the dart we even took on the waistline is not even as much as what we have here right now. But because the distance from this hem line to this hip line is longer, so the dart excess is going to be fuller. Let's assume that, let's say this tie line is not here, and where we want to cut is this center front. By the time we slash to this point, the dart excess, this opening here, this natural opening here, what we'll have here is going to be so small, because the distance from this point to the hip line to the hip dart point here is so short. So the longer the distance, the wider the dart excess, and vice versa. Okay, see what we have. Now we are going to add paper on the side and make sure that what we have on this side doesn't have any hip shape. It's just going to be straight. Okay, so I explained too much, right? Yeah, but I still believe you're not getting bored. You are gaining. You are getting value, okay? I believe you are getting value. Yes, I like to just explain in details. I don't like to leave any stone unturned. So that is just me for you. So I'll place this on a new paper like so. Then I'm going to bring my ruler to the, let me just call this part the waistline. Remember, this is the actual pattern, right? Don't forget the actual pattern. So I'll place my ruler from this point and make sure it doesn't come into my hip line. Okay, I'll make sure it is on my hip line. Can you see? The ruler is not coming inside like this. I hope you understand. So from the waist, I'm not having something like this. You make sure the ruler is outside the hip line so that you don't reduce your measurements. I'm trying to alter this to a line. Okay, so I'll just connect from that waist all the way down like so. Can you see? Then I'll connect the hem. And this is what we have. I'll go ahead and cut this out. Now, designers, this skirt part has pleats, that is added fullness, right? So we are going to go ahead now and perform the slash and spread technique on this pattern. I can't wait to see the first person that will bring this design to life. Okay, so now if you look at the design, so it has fullness, right? It has pleats on the side. So this means that, you get it, right? So this means that we are going to create slash lines, and the slash lines, you should have eyes for details, especially when you're replicating the design, to determine where it should stop, because this is actually not getting to the center front. So this is somewhere beyond the bust span. Okay, so this is my bust span right here. So I'll start my slash line from somewhere around this point. So I'm going to have slash lines, and it depends on the number of pleats you want to have. Okay, so for the sake of this, I'll just be having just 2 slash lines. Here is 1 and 2. So what I'm going to do now is that the fullness is starting from this point and it's on the hem as well. It means we are cutting through the pattern completely. It means we are slashing through. Okay, so this is what we have. You slash like so. Now let's assume that you want the fullness only on the hem. That means when you slash from the hem, you just get to the tip like so. Then do your fullness according to how much you want to do. Okay, so you go ahead and add paper in here, and if the fullness you want is only on the waistline, that means when you slash from the waistline, you also get to the tip here and spread open. But in this case now, then another thing you should do is to label and put arrow. This is up. Okay, side front is there already. So that means in this case now, the fullness is both on the up and the hem. So you cut through. Then you are going to add fullness. So how do you go about this, designers? It is simple. Trust me, it is simple. So just bring a pattern. So just bring a pattern paper. Oh my god, this is getting longer than I thought. But then once with that manipulation, I just continue teaching and teaching and teaching. Okay, so here's my center front. Please label is my center front. So, and here is the next one. 1, 2, 3. So you can use your tape or your gum, like I said. First pattern. Then determine the fullness you want, how many inches you want, determine it. So that is where okay, let me say I'm taking 2 inches. This is 2 inches. This is 2 inches. Okay, so it means I'm going to fold from here now to these 2 inches. And how do you do that? Just bring your pattern like so, form crease on that exact part and place it over what you decide to use. Can you see? Then you see I'm trying to create fullness inside here, right? I'm creating fullness inside here. So once I fold this way, then I'll bring the next pattern over. Please don't let it lap over each other. It should just kiss. It shouldn't lap over each other. Okay, it should not lap. When you open this one, it should still open. Can you see? So can you see what we have? It is matching up here and matching up on the hem. So what you go ahead to do now is to input another 2 inches. You choose a value to work with. Okay, so from here again, I'll take 2 inches. I'll take 2 inches and I'll also rule it. Okay, then you are also going to fold and place over that line. Can you see? And this is this as well. Then this is the third piece. You also bring this and tape. Please, if you have a watery gum, don't use it for this. It's going to mess your pattern up. So this way now, we can go ahead, cut off the excess on the hem, cut off the excess at the top. So designers, can you see the magic? So can you see this? It is interesting, right? Very interesting. So here we go, and here we go. And that is the pleats we have right here on the side. Can you see that? Can you see the pleats? So this is it. So designers, from this point now, so this is what to transfer to fabric. When you're transferring to fabric, you open up like so. Okay, then on this part you are adding ½ inch allowance, and you're adding allowance according to how the paper is. Okay, on the center front is going to be on fold. Then on the side you add your desired seam allowance. On the hem you add your desired seam allowance or hem allowance rather. So then you will notch this point when you're transferring to fabric so that you know exactly where to pleat to. Okay, you know exactly the point to pleat to, designers. So once you pleat this part, then you bring this and sew into it. It must match up. If it is perfectly done, this must match up. Okay, then you must have sewn your darts here as well. So either you sew your darts or you also slash here and spread and turn to fullness, then go ahead and sew. That's why I said for that manipulation is not freehand. Anybody telling you that you can do that manipulation directly on fabric is deceiving you. I'm telling you that authoritatively is deceiving you. So once you sew this dart, once you sew it, this pattern bulges out. Okay, let me just close it up. Okay, so when you sew, this is what you have. The bust area is going to, there will be allowance for your bust to sit in comfortably. So the allowance for your bust to sit in is definitely there. So it's not going to press your bust. It is not going to press your bust flat at all. So here we go. Once you plait this, use a stitch to secure, then then sew this into it, then sew your remaining darts right here, then sew it into this as well, and you are good to go. And you are good to go, designers. This is amazing, isn't it? It is amazing, trust me. Okay, it's amazing. And you're going to repeat almost the same thing on the back pattern as well. Almost the same to be repeated on the back pattern. Simple as ABC, easy as 1, 2, 3, designers. So I hope I've done justice to the 3 principles of pattern making. Number 1, the contouring. Number 2, we manipulated that. And number 3, we added fullness. Okay, we're closing all this that, taping back the pattern, cutting through here is that manipulation already, trust me. Then the contouring on the neckline and the added fullness we did here. So in every design, in virtually every design you're making, these 3 principles are what are the major things you are doing. Even if it is bustier, yes, you contour your underbust, you contour your neckline. There are some part that you contour to remove excess, and there are some part that you create volume, you create fullness. Like when you're doing a panel skirt, a panel top, you are creating volume, you are creating fullness, you are adding fullness. So designers, these things are not hard. Just have eyes for details and make sure your foundation is solid. That is one thing I will not stop ringing into your ears. Your foundation is solid. There is little to what you will not be able to interpret based on the level that you presently are. Trust me. You see that foundation? Don't not joke with it. Don't joke with it at all. Once you miss it there, trust me, the rest of the journey is going to be difficult, it's going to be frustrating, trust me. Okay, so designers, this brings us to the end of this, and I believe, please just comment and share this video, invite your friends to watch this video, share the link with them. Okay, tell them about Most Fashion Fix on YouTube. There's a lot for you to learn, trust me. I just need the encouragement, and God should just strengthen me, please. There's a lot to dish out for you guys, trust me. And once again, my name is Ololade of Most Fashion Fix, and from here, I believe you'll be able to interpret amazing designs on your own, right? We will do more of this anyway. We'll still do more of this. So designers, I'll say goodbye from here, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.